I'm Yvonne from Growing Old Disgracefully.
I'm Marie from Midlife Dramas in Pyjamas. You can find us both on Facebook.
And now we've come together to bring you inspirational stories from midlife and beyond in our podcast,
Hear Me Roar! Hello!
Hello! Yeah, Marie's talking about being pink in the cheeks. She didn't say which cheeks she meant, though.
Oh, you're so rude. And it was nothing to do with anything saucy.
Yeah,
it's just because we've had the fan eater on and I'm pink in the cheeks.
That's what happens when you stand in front of the fan heater and get your bum warm.
God's sake.
Oh, I know. So yeah, what are we on today? We're on fitness for later life.
Yes, not us, obviously. Our guest.
I
Our guest
know.
is talking about fitness in later life. You're quite fit, though. You do all sorts.
I am, but I've just been on holiday and I've done nothing.
Yes. Have you undone all the good?
Yeah, basically, I've just turned into a complete slob and did nothing but lie by the pool and eat.
Well, that's what you do on holiday.
I know. Well, we did have a lot of people watching as well, which was really nice.
I love a bit of people watching.
Yeah.
I will sit and have a coffee outside in the summer and just watch people go by. And
well, there was a lot of people in our hotel who, I don't know if anybody who's watching or listening ever does this, but you build up backstories for them.
Yeah, you make up stories.
Yeah. So there was a lady who we nicknamed the Big I Am.
Was she one of those, was she?
Well, she was just someone who knew a lot, and everything that she had to say was very, very important.
Yes, and probably actually wasn't.
And I think she felt she could influence other people, bring benefits and positivity to their life. And I'm just such a cow, really, aren't I?
She sounds it
was irritating me.
Yes.
And then, oh God, there was the guy who wore the same T-shirt for a whole week.
I read your post on Facebook about that.
I was, oh my God, either you've taken 7 T-shirts
Of the
with you or
same.
you change your T-shirt. Honestly, I'm surprised that he wasn't just like sticking to things.
Yeah, was the T-shirt not walking down to his sunbed on its own?
Oh God, I tell you, I think he probably had to be scraped off his sunbed at the end.
All right, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
That's giving me the ick.
And then who else did we have? We had Ian, who was very, very loud on his phone. All his conversations were on speakerphone.
Oh
and
my
that was very
God.
irritating because very important man, you see.
Yeah, he should have kept walking past and shouting inappropriate things while he was on the phone.
And then who else did we have? There was one more that we had. Oh gosh, it's gone out my head. Anyway, today we're going to be talking with Barbara Lowndes, who doesn't have any silly names for her.
I'm sure she'll be thrilled to know that.
So Barbara is going to be talking to us about fitness for later life. And at school, PE was not for her. And so she decided, that's not happening. That's not in my life. But then at nearly 40, she took up running. And so her disastrous first attempt involved half a mile, an asthma attack, and total exhaustion. But undeterred, she just carried on with it. And she entered races. She came last. She found a running club and she finally started to win some trophies. So she took up ultra running to celebrate her 50th. So that was then there was a 100-kilometer run to celebrate turning 55, and then a half Ironman triathlon for her 60th.
Yeah, can I just say I'm 60 next year and that ain't happening.
So anyway, for her 65th birthday, she was going to be running across the coast of northern Scotland, but sadly ended up at a vet 90 miles away for a dog, not for her, obviously. So she says that run is unfinished business. So let's go and find out a lot more about what keeps Barbara running. And there we go.
Hi, Barbara. Lovely to meet you.
Hi, Barbara.
How are you?
Great,
Fine.
thanks. And it's lovely to talk to you today.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. Well, you're one of our inspiring people because you have taken up running midlife. I'm going to take my glasses off here because I'm getting the light in them. And you've taken up running midlife, and you have then gone on to do some pretty tough stuff. Half marathon triathlon to celebrate your your 60th. So we wanted to ask you about that, beginning with PE at school, which didn't sound as though it was going too well for you.
Well, yeah, you could say that. I was kind of quite runty. Obviously, you blame your parents because, when your mother smokes and all the rest of it. But whatever. So you kind of you pop out small and you carry on being small, and then they want you to play netball and hockey and all that stuff, and you just get hit in the face with the ball, and it's really it puts you off.
As it would.
And, they just used to think it was fun, to throw me about instead of the ball. And this was in senior school, they should know better, but nevertheless. So, yeah, it didn't work out well. I was last at everything. I was the last to get picked for a team, general all-around runtiness. And of course, there was this small matter of the whole undiagnosed asthma sort of thing, because it didn't really exist back in the
No.
well, it was certainly undiagnosed for a long, long time, till I was in my 40s. So,
Wow.
yeah, it didn't kind of, I was never one of the sporty girls or anything, ever.
So obviously then your career didn't include anything to do with sport.
No, I mean, it was just a civil service job, and you just sort of sit down a lot of the time and you're pressing keys on the computer and answering the phone and all of that stuff. So it wasn't particularly active.
No.
Did that influence you then to take up running?
I think you get to a point where you think I really ought to be doing something, because I think there comes a point where stuff starts to get a little more difficult than it was, and you can't recover as well, and you can't just keep going and burning a candle at both ends. And then I got hold of a book, and it was you might not remember Stan Kenton, the great jazz player, and he has a daughter called Leslie Kenton. And she decided she was only going to eat raw food and only wear white things and then go for a run. And she wrote a book about how wonderful this is. So you hand over your $3.99 for the paperback version. And so I tried all the avocado and raspberry sandwiches and all of that stuff. Yeah, they're actually quite nice. So then I thought, well, I can't really wear white. I'm too scruffy for that. And so then she said, well, you have to go for a little run, but don't go too far. And so I thought, well, that's a good idea. So I got my plimsolls on. Are we allowed to use that word anymore? Plimsoll?
Yes.
They don't make them anymore. So anyway, I got whatever part of it, training shoes on, and off I went. And half a mile later, I was just kind of coughing my lungs up, clinging onto a tree, and red in the face and not feeling all that great. I mean, I was still late 30s then, so actually really, really young. And yeah, it was just kind of hard going. And at that point, you just think, that's pretty shocking, you shouldn't be this unfit.
No.
You should not find ordinary life that difficult for half a mile. So I toddled off to the gym and used their indoor things to improve cardio and all the rest of it. There wasn't a plan. It wasn't systematic. And then, do you remember they started these Race for Life things?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sponsor them. And there was one in Roundhay Park in Leeds. That was my nearest one at that time. And so I thought, yeah, well, why not? I'll have a go. So, you sign up for it thinking, well, it's 5K. I don't even know what that means in old money, but yeah, I'll be fine. So, you set off and you just keep going. And so you can run a little further every time before you actually fall flat on your face. And so, I got there in the end. And the rest is history, I suppose. Because as you get fit enough to run 5K, then you're kind of over the worst of it. The first 5K is the hardest. The rest of it's just not stopping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and it wasn't great. I don't even remember what time I did, but they gave you a really nice little medal with Race for Life on it and a ribbon, and and then you've raised some money for charity, and then there's hundreds and hundreds of people there, all fast, slow, in between, and it's a great event, and there's a nice atmosphere, and you think this is good fun. And I've paid, 30 quid for trainers now. I might as well use them. So, you find a running club. So that was really the beginning of the journey. And I think Race for Life, is responsible for kicking off quite a lot of running careers.
So you started running because you were in a desk job and you were stuck behind a desk. Why did you choose running? Why not say, I don't know, netball or hockey or... Oh, yeah, she was going to get hit in the face.
I mean, obviously, if you want to participate in team sports, you need to find, 11 other people who've got nothing to do on any given moment of the day, and you have to get somewhere, and you have to organise yourself and work out what the rules are. And it seemed a bit complicated, and also, that there aren't that many squads near you necessarily. There wasn't even an internet the way you could go and find these things out.
No.
And bearing in mind, you know, I had it firmly imprinted in my mind. I am seriously not sporty. I will get
Yeah.
there, make a fool of myself, and be asked not to come back. So it's a bit of a confidence thing. But
And
with
running is
running,
something you can do on your own, isn't it? You can just go through the front door and run.
very much the case. Yeah, the training session starts when you step out the door. So it's kind of efficient use of time. And obviously, if it all goes wrong, you can slink home without embarrassing anybody but yourself. So it's great. Because I remember, playing hockey for the school, because they did let me do it because I'm short of people. And we just get hammered. I mean, Woodford County High girls, they didn't tell me that they were, sponsored by the Olympics, but they were just, and they thrashed us every time. And so you don't go home with that feeling of, letting your team down. You're just there for yourself, and you can do it when you want it, when you've got time and so on. And it's good. That's why I did it. And it's cheap. It's very cheap. It costs what a pair of running shoes costs. And, I mean, I know you need vest and knickers and stuff, but buy a decent running bra, obviously. But just largely, you don't need any special skills, any special equipment. It's an efficient and effective use of your time. If you're limited, when I was working long hours, and so you don't have hours and hours of time, you don't have lots of days off, and you have other commitments in your life, you can just step out of the front door and then your training's started.
Yeah.
You're not letting anybody down if you don't feel like it, or it goes wrong, or you're having a bad day. So it's
Did finding out that you had asthma, did that worry you at all, put you off?
well, obviously, I didn't know I had asthma. I just thought running's really, really hard, and I keep running out of breath. So, and I would then have to, I tried training on a treadmill, and I just used to work really hard so I could get the maximum number of minutes before I went blue in the face and had to stop. And it turns out that's actually not really the right thing to do. So I went along to the doctors, and I love the NHS, I really do. But this doctor said, well, if running's getting you like that, you just need to stop running, dear. And I thought,
Oh,
that's not the answer I was expecting.
no, not very helpful.
No, that's what it was. That's what it was then. And so I then thought, well, I'll go and consult
Oh.
private doctor. And they said, well, just run around the car park then. So I ran around the car park and then just crawled back in through the door. And they said, we haven't got exercise asthma, do you? You've got ordinary asthma. And I said, and the difference is what exactly? And they said, well, you need a lot more medication. But they're very kind. It was in Yorkshire practice, and they said, well, here's a list of things. Go back to your doctor and get them to prescribe them to you. So that's what I did, and then they said, yeah, that's fine, have these, and off you go. So that helped. That really, really did. Being able to breathe was just fabulous. So that really took things further. But St. Paula Radcliffe, she's asthmatic.
Yeah.
It turns out a lot of athletes and runners like me, but athletes, actual real proper athletes, are asthmatic, So
Well, it's good that it hasn't held you back and that you got the right treatment in the end.
yeah, well, you just have to kind of stand there and stamp your little foot, don't you? And you get what you want.
So you've taken up ultra running. What does that mean?
Okay, well, an ultra marathon is anything over a full marathon distance. So anything over 26 miles is an ultra marathon. So 27 miles would qualify, but generally they start at around kind of 30 miles.
So you're 65 now, aren't you, Barbara? Am
Tell
I?
everybody.
Too late.
Sorry. Is it becoming more difficult to? Does it get more difficult as time goes on? Which is probably a stupid question, really, isn't it? But
Do you mean as you get older?
Well, it was interesting that having started running at around 40, and then it got easier. So when I was doing all my best times at 50, which is weird, but I suppose that just coming from a low base, it took me a long while to actually get fit. And yes, so you're all right in your 50s. And I think after, and when I reached 60, that was all right as well. And I'm finding it more difficult now. Stuff hurts a lot more, and recovery times are a lot longer now, and I have a lot more off days. So I won't deny that that it hurts, but I did actually try a layoff because I thought I just can't bear this. You wake up in the morning and it hurts. So I tried not running, And I still woke up in the morning and it hurt. So, it didn't make any difference whether you run or you're not. Just the aging process, I think, is just
Yeah.
maybe you need a new mattress. I don't know, but it's certainly. Yeah, of course, you have to take a lot longer to recover, but you can't just treat yourself as indestructible anymore. You have to take a great deal more care of yourself.
Yeah.
And obviously, we don't run as fast and so on, but you turn up and you're looking at the people that are your vintage. You don't want to you can't beat a 20-year-old.
No.
And so yes, of course, it's harder.
So for your 60th, you ran you didn't just run, you did a half Ironman triathlon. Is that running, cycling and swimming?
It certainly is, yes.
For
You
your
start off with
60th? Can I just say I'm 60 next year? I might just walk to the shop or something.
You'd pass
Yeah.
out.
I'd pass out if I tried to do any of that.
You'd pass out if you walked to the end of the garden.
Rude.
Well, I think they're actually. You find out about triathlon. You see all these superheroes on the telly, and and you just think, well, that's lovely. And also, it's known as cross training. There's a lady I know who she's been cross training all her life, but she didn't call it that. I read in a book, there was a very inspirational book I got hold of, and it said, don't just do running, it's quite hard on your joints and muscles and everything. Mix it up, do some other stuff, do a bit of swimming, exercise your whole body, not just, just the running specific bits of it. Do a bit of swimming, get on your bike, this, that, and the other. It's cross training. And I was speaking to this very inspirational friend of mine, and she said, no, I don't do cross training. She said, I do a bit of swimming and a bit of biking as well as my running. And I said, well, that's cross training. She was just incorporating it into a list of fun things that she does. And so I thought, well, that's really good. I'm going to do that. I want to be like her. And so you find a little thingy to enter. And we had a great time and we did really well. And I didn't fall off my bike or anything. And I mean, I have been falling off my bike quite a lot because there's a reason I didn't really concentrate on cycling. And when you're swimming, you swallow a lot of water and stuff, and just get attacked by the ducklings and all that, and can't get in and out of my wetsuit, and just everything that could go wrong has always gone wrong. And so yeah, you kind of take it up. You think you have a good time, and somebody else says, "Let's do X, Y, Z," and you go, "All right, then." Before you can shut your gob, it's let's do it. Comes out. So you find yourself in this, and it's a bit of fun because you can get fitter. You can train twice a day instead of once because you're not wearing yourself out with just run, which is quite tiring. So you get drawn into it, and you have a great time.
How did you get on with the half Ironman then?
Well, I completed it. I think it's fair to say my competing days are kind of rapidly diminishing, but I'm more complete than compete these days. But yeah, I did it. I think the swim was ridiculously hard work, and my hands were so cold. You find motor skills go when your hands get cold, and every single motor skill I possessed went, and I couldn't get out of my wetsuit, and I couldn't get into my cycling jersey, so I was just trying to get warm. But then obviously once I got warm, it was absolutely fine. The cycling bit, we'd practiced it, so I knew where the horrible hills were. All the gears on my bike, they worked for a change, so that was great. And yeah, I've had some terrible times with previous races. It was, I'd done one before. I picked one to do around Rutland Water. And I thought, well, that'll be flat then. That'll be just fine, won't it? Because it's, Rutland Water. That'll be great. I don't know if you've ever been to Rutland Water.
No.
Yeah, the water bit's really, really flat, but it's really hilly around it. So this bike was up and down the hill. And that's when my bike chain came off and I couldn't get it back on. And then
Oh, God.
And it was just, that was, so yeah, things can go wrong.
So for anybody who's listening who might not know, because to be honest, I'm not sure, what are the actual distances of a half Ironman?
Oh, okay, so you swim 1,500 metres.
And that's in open water, isn't it? It's not in the nice swimming pool.
Usually, yeah, it would be an awful lot of lengths of the pool if you did it in a pool. So they're usually swimming around with some seaweed and
And 1,500 metres, just for anybody that needs old money, that's
Like me.
That's
it's a mile.
That's nearly a mile.
Nearly a mile, yeah. And then when you get on the bike, that's about, what is it in kilometres? 56, 60 kilometres, something like that, yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, it's about 60 kilometres. Yeah, as a full Ironman is 112, or is it miles? Might be 60 miles. It's about 4 hours. It's about 4 hours cycling.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and then, yeah, I think it's, 100 yeah, it's miles. I'm sure it's miles. I can never remember. And then
Doesn't matter.
the run bit, that's a half marathon, so that's 13 miles.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's a breeze.
And you did that for your 60th. Wow.
Well, you have to kind of celebrate not being dead yet, don't you? And
Well, that's true. I'll bear that
one
in
thing as
mind.
well, we were all in the middle of lockdown, and so we were. I mean, the beauty of it is, we had a wonderful summer, and the roads were empty.
Yeah.
Remember the rules, and they were you can go out once a day for one activity. And I thought, well, it'll be a 4-hour bike ride then. It's
Yeah.
in the rule. It's in the rules. And so yeah, that's what I used to do because I'm a bit kind of nervous around traffic because I'm wobbly on the bike. So there was really very little else to do that summer. There were very few sporting events taking place. So you just had the place to myself. Swimming in open water, again, relatively risk-free. You're not in a confined space. So it was actually not a bad thing to do to go training. We were all conscious of our health and safety, weren't we, in
Yeah.
those days?
Yeah.
So for your birthday recently, you were supposed to be going on a run along the coast of northern Scotland.
Well, it wasn't anything it wasn't an official formal thing. I just thought, wouldn't it be good if on my 65th birthday, I get out and do a nice run along the north coast and, see what I can see what's up there. And have you been up to the northernmost coast?
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's very nice up there. I was in Durness, and but I didn't manage to do anything, partly because having only just arrived there from down south, I my dog ran into some discarded fencing wire at speed and ripped a great big hole in her chest. So it was all a bit dramatic. There was a lot of blood everywhere, and a trip to the emergency vet, who was in Tain, which was about 90 miles. But it's all, single track roads up that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I was in motorhome, and that was a fairly alarming drive. So that was my birthday. The champagne was still in the fridge, chilling. And
Oh,
yeah, we walked into. I said, "Well, my birthday tea is going to be a fish supper then from the local chippy in town while the dog's having a being stitched together emergency operation." And we walked in there, blood soaked. I kid you not. We looked like a mafia cleanup team. And our turn came. We got to the front of the queue, and he looked us up and down. I said, 2 fish suppers, please, because I know how to say it in Scotland. That's how they call it, isn't it? It's not fish and chips, please. And he just looked at us and said, "Would you like salt vinegar on that?" "Yes, please." And I did bat an eyelid, and I thought, what kind of town are we in here? They're used to this. These people, they must see this all the time. So yeah, I'm not going back there. Not going back there. But there's the vet. I can recommend a vet.
but a dog was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, dog is fine. She's been out and all the rest of it. She's full recovery, which is absolutely great, and unfinished business for me running wise.
Yeah.
So there we go.
So does your husband run as well? Or
Well, he's a far, far, far better runner than I will ever be.
really?
And oh yeah, he's just doesn't need to practice, doesn't need to eat properly, doesn't need to train. Just one of those lucky. Some people got gifts, haven't they? And and totally neglected it and not unappreciated. But there you go. But he's not running hardly at all now. He gets cramps and everything. But yeah, he's always been a very fine runner. As long as he doesn't listen to this, because I mean, if he catches me praising him, I used to get big heads. But yeah, and yeah, very good runner. And
Well, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to get fit or who wants to continue any fitness regime as they get older?
I suppose what has become more I suppose when we're starting out, I think the key thing that helped me was surrounding myself with inspirational people. And you really, really cannot say this too many times. Although I've been saying to you, you can take it as an individual thing. I think that to really kind of get on with this, you surround yourself with inspirational people who know how you can deal with injury or can tell you how it feels or can give you advice on how to train better and what events to do.
Yeah.
One of the most inspirational people I've ever met, there's quite a few in my running club, and they're in every running club up and down the country. And there's lovely man, said, well, you're going to do a marathon then. I said, don't be ridiculous. And of course, I'm not going to do a marathon. How can I ever do a marathon? He said, of course you can. No, really. Look, I can't. I'm runty, you know. And he said, no, you can. And I trusted him, and he, come on, let's go running. Let's do this, let's do that. And you know, they show you that you can do more than you ever thought you could.
Right.
And so I think absolutely it's whatever you choose to do, whether it's yoga or anything, it's far more fun and far easier to progress that if you're surrounded by people that can inspire you and show you what you can do.
And it goes back, I suppose, as well to what you were saying about aiming to complete rather than compete.
Well, I mean, that's true of me now. In my kind of 40s and 50s, I entered all the contests. It's always races, and so you like to finish quite well up, don't you? In thing. It's very much age categories, so 5 or 10 year age categories. You're racing against all the other women your age, and so yeah, there's some very healthy competition going on, and it's very nice if you get called up to the front to get, I don't know, a little cup or a rosette or a
That is lovely, yeah.
sometimes a bottle of wine, so that's very nice.
Well, that makes it all worth competing
Yeah,
for.
well, you know.
Which kind of brings us on to the cocktail quite nicely, Barbara.
Well, the cocktail. Okay, so I haven't tried it yet, but this is a cocktail to sum up me. Is that right?
Yes, so if you were a cocktail or a mocktail, what would it be called, and what would be your main ingredients and why?
I haven't got a name for it. I suppose it would be a
Running Wild?
running wild. Running wild. That might be a good one. So, okay, you want to know the ingredients?
Yeah.
So we've got a triple vodka, and we've got a dash of lemonade, we've got a squeeze of lemon, and we've got half a sugar cube.
And is there anything kind of a special ingredient related to your life in there at all?
What do you think? Well, a bit of lemonade, you know, it's a little bit fizzy.
Yeah.
And then big squeeze of lemon because, you know, sharp.
I thought you were going to say you were bitter.
That too. Half a sugar cube because it's only a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
Vodka because I'm rather tasteless. And it's being a triple is that I'm very likely to get you drunk.
Hey, that's great.
So that's what I could come up with. I might actually mix myself one later on. So just to see.
Well, I think we'll have to have a go at that one, definitely.
will,
I'm a
yeah.
vodka fan, are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it in things. I couldn't drink it on its own, but I like it in a cocktail.
Yeah, I like it in a
You know.
cocktail, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Barbara. It has been absolutely wonderful chatting to you today. We've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been lovely to meet
Yeah.
you. And
Oh,
you,
well, it's been fantastic chatting to you. As long may we run.
Yeah.
yes, you are a
Well, yeah.
truly inspirational person.
Yeah. I mean, this episode is going to be called Fitness for Later Life, and it has been really interesting hearing about your adventures.
I'm
So
not old
thank-
yet, though.
No,
No, we're not old. Always.
It's been such fun talking to you.
It was lovely to
Alright.
meet you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks, Barbara.
Bye-bye then.
Bye.
Thank you to our guest this week, and thanks for listening.
And we look forward to roaring with you again.